Hello folks, something a little bit different for you today. I'm going to be reviewing the G733 wireless headset from Logitech. This is not a sponsored review. I've just been using these myself for the last 18 months or so, and I've really liked using them, so I thought I'd recommend them to you guys and explain why that is the case. Now, in some respects, the G733s are not all that remarkable. When you first get them out of the box, they're going to feel a little bit lacking in terms of build quality, a little bit flexible, perhaps in places they ought not to be. But that's because these things are extremely light, and the number one reason I would give for recommending the G733s is the actual comfortability factor. These things are an absolute joy to wear, they really are. Now, the audio quality from the 40mm drivers is absolutely fine. It's at least comparable to other headsets that you'll get in gaming headphones from the same price range, and the fact that these are wireless is a nice bonus as well. The G733s are compatible, of course, with your PC or with your Mac, but they are also compatible with PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch as well. Unfortunately, they are not compatible with Xbox, and because there's no adapter for 3.5mm cables, they are also not compatible with other devices, and they're not compatible with smartphones or tablets. One thing to note, however, a bit of a downside, is that the actual software, the Logitech G Hub software that allows you to customize a lot of the settings, the equalizer settings, the RGB settings, that is available on PC, but unfortunately the settings do not save to the headset itself. Now, fortunately, I don't consider that to be a big downside because I've never really faffed about with the actual equalizer or audio settings in the G Hub software, as the default audio that these things provide is absolutely fine to me, as I say, and I've never really felt a need to change that. So the only way to connect these to whichever system you're going to be using them with is with this included dongle. Now, the actual connection range does seem to be quite impressive. At least for me, I live in a home that has very strong internal brick walls, which is tends to be useless for like Wi-Fi and what have you. And yet, whilst I'm wearing these, I can easily, say I'm watching a film or something on Netflix, I can easily move into the kitchen where I make a cup of tea and I can keep listening to my movie without any kinds of transmission issues, any noise or any cutouts. Obviously, there comes a point where if you move too far away from the transmitter, you are going to lose that connection, but it does seem to have a pretty good range. However, as is pretty much always the case with gaming wireless headsets, it does come at a slight cost in the sense that the audio quality from the microphone isn't going to be up to par in comparison to a wired gaming headset. The mic itself isn't a retractable mic, but if you're not going to be using it for a while, you can literally just pull it out. It unplugs very easily, and then you can plug it back in when you need it again. And here is that audio directly through the G733 microphone. So how does this sound to you guys? Do you think it's comparable to other gaming headsets within the same sort of price point of the G733? Or do you think, being a wireless headset, it is a little bit weaker? Please do share your thoughts down in the comments below. And now we're going to take a look a little bit more in depth at the G Hub software itself. So when you open the G Hub software, all of your Logitech gaming devices will be shown on the home page, and you can see for the G733 it does show the battery life as well here, so you can access that quickly. Now, when you actually go onto the settings for the headset, there are a number of tabs you can select from. The first is the headphones themselves. This is where you can change the type of sound that is actually being put into your ears. And again, I'm not an audiophile, and I found that just leaving everything at the default is absolutely perfect for me. But you can go ahead and make changes if you want to, but just remember that none of these changes are saved in the actual headset themselves. So if you then go and connect to your PlayStation or to your Switch, you will revert back to the default settings. You can also make more advanced adjustments by selecting this little tab here, Enable Advanced Equalizer. And you can see again everything's currently at the default, but if you know what you're doing with this, you can certainly have a fiddle about with it. And you can save presets as well if you wish to do so. You can also select to enable the Fuzz surround sound option, which again I haven't done. I couldn't really notice much difference, but maybe you can, and you can have a play about with this if you select it. You have a number of options to really get into some advanced adjustments even with the surround sound. So on the microphone, there are options. You can test your voice to see how it's going to sound, and you can enable blue voice as well. which will effectively allow you to make further adjustments to the microphone. And there's also a new option where you can incorporate your mic with NVIDIA Broadcast. So in terms of software, you do get quite a bit of choice. Obviously, the innate quality of the hardware itself is always going to be a limiting factor, but it's nice to see that you have all of these options. And also you can change the RGB effects. Now, as you can see right now, the default setting is the cycle setting. This is what will be enabled when you connect to your other systems as well that don't use the G-Hub software. And if you look at the upper right corner here, you can see the battery life. Right now we have 93% or approximately 18 hours of battery remaining. But as you change the RGB lighting in the settings here, you can actually increase or decrease the remaining battery life. So you can see there are a number of options you can select from, both for the top RGB lights and the bottom ones as well. So if I select both of these two off, you can see we increase our battery life, first of all to 21 hours, and if I turn the bottom lights off as well, to 26 hours. So by just turning the RGB off, you add a remarkable amount of extra life into a single battery charge, which might be something worth considering. Again, annoyingly, on your PlayStation or Switch, you are going to be stuck in that particular cycle mode, which is also annoying, I've heard, for those that wear glasses, as you do tend to get a pretty mean reflection. So I'll set those back to the defaults for now. And also the headset does have a number of buttons that you can interact with. You've got the power button, of course, which is next to a USB-C charging. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a USB-C charging port, which is really nice to have. And it's also got the volume button and a button to mute the microphone as well. So I mentioned that the headset is very comfortable to wear, and in fact there's quite a bit of adjustability that you can engage in case you have a different shaped head to mine, which you probably do. So first of all, the ski band, which is something we're seeing on other headsets as well nowadays, has a couple of settings that you can play about with if you want to change that for your head shape. And also the cups themselves can sort of be moved in and out a little bit. You don't get a lot of play with those, but you do get some. They don't lock into position, but the mechanism is fairly stiff, so once you've got that at a position that you want it at, it's probably not going to move. But again, this is not a sponsored video. I just really like this headset. My stepson, who normally is not very good when it comes to wearing headphones and that, he just tends to find they irritate his head. He tried these on and absolutely fell in love with them. So I got him a pair himself for Christmas this year. And apart from allowing me to borrow them to just grab some shots, I don't think he's taken them off since. So I would definitely recommend the G733s. Do you agree with my assessment? If you have used these yourself, please do share your thoughts down in the comments below. I hope the video has helped you. Let me know if you want to see any more hardware reviews such as this going forward from time to time. But I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Don't forget to subscribe for future content, and I'll see you next time. Bye, folks.